What is up, everybody? I wanted to come to you guys with my AEW Dynamite review tonight. AEW Dynamite was a very piss poor show. This show was just very, very piss poor. This was a piss poor AEW Dynamite show tonight for AEW. This show was just awful. This show tonight for AEW was trash. This show sucked. This show was garbage tonight for AEW Dynamite. This show was very, very mid. I mean, if this show for AEW this show tonight for AEW Dynamite was very, very mid. So let's talk about how AEW started off. AEW started off with Tommaso Ciampa coming out. He's whining and crying and talking about how he's better than Jericho. Why do I care about Tommaso Ciampa being better than Jericho? Why do I care? What is this? What is AEW? What is AEW Dynamite doing with Tommaso Ciampa? What is this? What is Tony Khan doing with Tommaso Ciampa? Tommaso Ciampa is coming out whining and crying, talking about he's better than Jericho. And then out comes Jericho. Jericho comes out. He's mocking Tommaso Ciampa, calling him Tommy. And then Jericho gets the crowd to chant Tommy's mommy at Tommaso Ciampa, which was lame as all hell. And then Jericho calls Tommaso Ciampa bald. Whatever. No one cares. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, what are we doing with this segment with Tommaso Ciampa and Jericho? What are we doing? We got Tommaso Ciampa coming out whining and crying that he's better than Jericho. Jericho comes out. He's mocking Tommaso Ciampa, calling him Tommy. And then Jericho gets the crowd to chant Tommy's mommy at Tommaso Ciampa. And then Jericho calls Tommaso Ciampa bald. Whatever. I didn't laugh. This segment between Tommaso Ciampa and Jericho was lame. It was lame as hell. That's all it was. It was lame. And then we had a segment with Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight comes out and he's talking about how he's the newest member of the Don Callis family. Whatever. And then out comes Darby Allin. Darby Allin comes out. He sneak attacks Kevin Knight from behind. Darby Allin hits Kevin Knight in the back with a skateboard. Okay, I mean whatever. It looks like Kevin Knight is going to be feuding with Darby Allin. And then we had a backstage segment with Andrade and Kevin Knight. This was a whatever backstage segment with Kevin Knight and Andrade tonight on AEW Dynamite. Whatever. This backstage segment was just whatever. I don't know what this segment was. And then we had the first match of the night, which was Jon Moxley versus Shane Taylor for the men's continental. We had Jon Moxley versus Shane Taylor for the men's Continental Championship tonight on AEW Dynamite. This was a enjoyable to decent one-on-one men's match between Jon Moxley and Shane Taylor tonight on AEW Dynamite for the Continental Championship. Decent to fun one-on-one men's match. This match was alright. Nothing really to write home about here in this one-on-one men's match with Jon Moxley versus Shane Taylor for the men's Continental Championship. It was an alright one-on-one men's match. Nothing really to write home about here. It was alright. And Jon Moxley ended up picking up the win over Shane Taylor to retain his Continental Championship tonight on AEW Dynamite in a one-on-one men's match. And after the match, Shane Taylor Productions ends up taking out the Death Riders. And then we had Mark Briscoe versus Pac This was an alright 101 men's match between Mark Briscoe and Pac. This was a decent 101 men's match between these two guys. This match was alright, decent for what it was. It was okay. Really nothing to write home about here either. With this 101 men's match between Mark Briscoe and the Bastard Pac. This match was just decent for what it was. It was okay, and Mark Briscoe ended up picking up the win over the Bastard Pac, and Mark Briscoe ended up challenging MJF for the AEW World Championship. And then we had Andrade versus Orange Cassidy. This was an okay 101 men's match between Orange Cassidy and Andrade tonight on AEW Dynamite. This match was alright. It was alright for what it was. Which was a 101 men's match between Andrade and Orange Cassidy, and Andrade ended up picking up the win over Orange Cassidy in a 101 men's match tonight on AEW, which was alright. Really nothing to write home about. It was just an ordinary 101 men's match between Andrade and Orange Cassidy tonight on AEW Dynamite. And Andrade ended up picking up the win over Orange Cassidy tonight on AEW Dynamite. And then we had a 101 women's match. We had Maya World versus Sky Blue. This was the first best match of the night tonight on AEW Dynamite, with Sky Blue versus Maya World in a 101 women's match. This was a fun 101 women's match tonight on AEW Dynamite with Sky Blue versus Maya World. Fun 101 women's match. And this match was enjoyable. I liked this match between Sky Blue and Maya World tonight on AEW Dynamite. Fun match between these two women tonight on AEW Dynamite. This was a very, very fun 101 women's match between Sky Blue and Maya World tonight on AEW Dynamite. I love this match between these two women. I thought it was an enjoyable match. I thought it was fun. It kept my attention. It kept me entertained. And Maya World ended up picking up the win over Sky Blue tonight on AEW in a very, very fun 101 women's match tonight on AEW Dynamite. And then we had the main event, which was Brody King versus Swerve Strickland in the main event tonight of AEW. This was the second best match of the night tonight on AEW Dynamite in the main event of AEW between Swerve Strickland and Brody King. This was a very, very damn good main event between Brody King and Swerve Strickland. This was the second best match of the night tonight on AEW Dynamite in the main event of AEW between Swerve Strickland and Brody King. Very, very fun 101 men's match tonight between Brody King and Swerve Strickland. In this 101 men's match, they had a very, very damn good match. These two guys went out there and put on a banger of a match tonight in the main event tonight of AEW Dynamite. These two guys went out there and absolutely tore the house down tonight on AEW Dynamite in the main event of AEW between Swerve Strickland and Brody King. These two guys put on a damn good match, and Swerve Strickland ended up picking up the win over Brody King in the main event of AEW Dynamite tonight. And we had a backstage segment with Mercedes. I really did enjoy this backstage segment with Mercedes Moné tonight on AEW Dynamite. I really, really liked this backstage segment with Mercedes Moné. Her backstage segment tonight was really, really good. I really liked the backstage segment tonight with Mercedes Moné. And then we had a backstage segment with the Triangle of Madness. They had an awesome backstage segment as well. I really, really did like this backstage segment with the Triangle of Madness tonight on AEW Dynamite. They had an awesome backstage segment as well. So overall, I'm gonna give AEW Dynamite a 5 out of 10. This show was piss poor. This show was not entertaining. This show sucked. The only things I would go back and watch tonight on AEW Dynamite, I would go back and watch the Mercedes Moné backstage segment and the backstage segment with the Triangle of Madness and the Sky Blue and Maya World match and the main event between Swerve Strickland and Brody King. Those are the only things I will go back and rewatch on AEW Dynamite tonight. Other than that, AEW Dynamite was just an awful show. Very, very mid show tonight for AEW Dynamite. If you guys like this AEW Dynamite review, hit that like button. It'll help. Hitting that like button on this AEW Dynamite review will help push my YouTube channel through the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you guys subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching this AEW Dynamite review tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But AEW Dynamite tonight was a piss poor show. Other than that, this show was just whatever tonight for AEW Dynamite. The best three things about AEW tonight was the match between Maya World and Sky Blue, and the backstage segment with Mercedes Moné, and the match with Maya World and Sky Blue, and the main event with Brody King and Swerve Strickland. And, I mean, the four best things tonight on AEW Dynamite was the match with Maya World and Sky Blue, the backstage segment with Mercedes Moné, the match with Maya World and Sky Blue, and the backstage segment with the Triangle of Madness. Those were the four best things tonight on AEW Dynamite. Other than that, Dynamite was very, very mid. So anyway, guys, this has been your AEW Dynamite review. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the TNA review. Until then, you guys have a great night. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out of here. Peace.